Hey, welcome back to the series about the JTZ DP30 Filmmaker System. Today we talk about the follow focus. In the video about the cage, I teased a bit that this follow focus has some features that I did not see before in any other follow focus. And we will get to them later. For now, let's have a look at the normal stuff, the basic features that we would expect from a follow focus and see what's in the package. On my left, you can see the box of this follow focus. It's rather big because it ships with a lot of accessories actually. So as with any higher end follow focus, we can detach the marking disc. It's attached with magnets, so this is really good. This is a spare part that you can buy separately, but the thing is, within the package, we have not one, but we have we have 4 marking discs shipped with our follow focus that we can easily switch out. So even if one of these break, you should be covered and you don't need to buy separate ones. Here's the thing that we often see from Fotga or JTZ, in this case, the adapter for 19mm rods systems. So here you get in 19mm rods for studio setups, and you just attach your normal follow focus on top of it. So this is pretty convenient. If you have this kind of setup, it's already in the package. So this is the foam inside the package, and this can give you an idea of the accessories that are available to use separately. I have a very simple version here, but there are also versions with 2 heads, so you have like on each side, and for the really big setups that you see on normal film sets, you can have this as the middle part of your follow focus. Then there are little arms like we had on the DP503. This is all separate. This is not in the normal package, but it's available. So this is pretty cool because you can pimp your follow focus to your needs. What we also have here are different gears for our follow focus. So this is a rather large wheel. This is the Mod 0.8, so the normal module that we have for cinema lenses with 65 teeth on it. But we also have other wheels here. We have, for example, here a Mod 0.6. So this is a bit smaller. I think this is for TV lenses with 64 teeth. We have a Mod 0.8 with 38 teeth, a Mod 0.8 with 43 teeth, and last but not least we have a Mod 0.5. I have no idea what's that for, I never saw this before, with 78 teeth. So these are all included in the package right away. I like this one because it gives you a long throw on lenses. And we have also, this is not a gear in the end, this is just made of rubber. So there's a little rubber ring around the plastic here. And this is pretty cool because it's only based on friction, on pure friction, and can be used with lenses that are, for example, focused by wire or that you don't have any gears to. So you can use this for example, native Panasonic lenses. Get them back in the package. There's an accessory port on the side, and we can use these things to attach them to. These are included in the package. This is a little speed crank that we can get here, so we can turn the focus really fast. And we have a whip, and I actually never had a whip before. And this connects here, and this lets you adjust the focus from a range. So maybe if you're sitting on a table. Pretty cool thing included in the package. So you maybe already saw the quick release that we have for the follow focus. And this is so great because it's so convenient to just clip it on in any position, even if we have a matte box on top, so we don't have to remove this before. And this is such an important feature, and I don't want to miss this anymore. So the silver screw underneath lets you adjust the position of your follow focus. And the cool thing is that there's a safety pin. So basically it won't get off unless you press this little pin here, and then you can, remove the quick release from our follow focus gearbox arm. And this is really also a pretty cool thing. We have a little dampening screw here, fully damped. We have a bit of a stiff movement. If we lose it, we have a much lighter friction on our gearbox here. And personally, I really like to have it a bit more stiff, to use a bit more force to pull the focus. But depending on your setup, this could be really nice to easily adjust the focus. Something I also don't want to miss anymore are hard stops. So basically, we have these little screws here on our disc, around our disc, and we can set a little area, and now we can quickly focus between those without to have to worry about markings on our marking disk. So this is pretty cool if you have planned setups. One cool thing about the hard stops that I did not see before, and it's so simple but it's so genius, is that there's a little bit of rubber around the little screw. So basically, you can hear it. It's much lighter than you have like only aluminum screws and they get it against the metal and it's really loud. So this is a much more quiet and very interesting, because it's such a simple thing, but it adds so much value, you know, that it's not like this loud. And I think it will age a bit better than when you pull always metal against metal. So one thing you cannot do is change the position of the little indicator, so the marking indicator or the indicator where the hard stops hit against. You cannot adjust this. Usually you have a screw here that you can where you can change the position. What you can do though is change the complete position of the whole head. So this is a detachable part. And can you see how butter smooth the grip is without anything attached? This is pretty neat. So basically what you can do is you don't change only the position of the marking, you change the position of the whole head. So maybe, for example, if I wanted to have it like this, so when I am behind the camera I can see the marking disc or the marking, I would do it like this. Just snap it on and then I'm good to go. And you can, of course, you don't have to pull it off. So this lever is a bit hard to pull, which is cool because it's a really solid connection. You can also just twist it around when it's still attached and then clip it tight. You most likely already saw it and I did not talk about it yet. We have a little connection here, and this is a connection for an audio jack cable, so basically a LAN connection for the JTZ Link. For the cage system, for all the remote stuff. And also we have 4 buttons around our follow focus. At first I have to get a few things out of the way. This connection here it will not translate the motion that you pull on your focus. So you cannot pull the follow focus and electronically get the autofocus motor to work in your lens on your camera. This won't work. So this connection is only for the 4 buttons and not for the focus itself, which is a bit of a bummer, but of course also a bit much to ask. So the buttons on the follow focus are basically the same 4 buttons that we have on top of our handle. So next to the record button we have 4 buttons, and these are one and the same function-wise. And I wanted to wait for the JTZ Link video, but I think we have to get a bit onto this right now. So we have it here in our manual, the functions of these buttons. And the thing is, it's not as cool as you would assume. For example, with the GH5, I said it before in the cage video, the GH5 has not the great possibilities to be remote controlled through the remote port. So this is the reason why we cannot control that much with the JTZ Link system, which is a bit of a bummer, but this is specifically for the Panasonic cameras and will and may vary with other brands. For example, on a Blackmagic Ursa camera, you have a lot of more different things you can do with these buttons. There are little dots indicating which number it is. Number 1 will zoom actually from wide, and number 2 is this is 1, this is 2. So these buttons will zoom. So if you have a camera capable of controlling the zoom over the LAN port, this will zoom wide and tele. And we have a third button for the focus. This is not what you think, this is for triggering the autofocus. So this is something I cannot do with the Panasonic GH5, but I can do this with the Blackmagic Ursa camera. The Blackmagic Ursa camera can trigger the autofocus of the lens. This depends greatly, the quality of this autofocus depends greatly on your camera and your lens, how good they work together. For example, on the Ursa it's a bit slow, but it finds the focus. So basically you can push this once and it will focus where it should. Of course only with lenses that have an autofocus motor. As I mentioned before, in the GH5 you don't have all the fancy features over the wires for remote control. However, a few things work. For example, 1 and 2, the buttons don't work at all. But at least with the button 3, we can start a recording. This is the button for the focus. So basically, usually this would be like equivalent to half pressing the button, but it's not half pressing of the button, of the focus button, but full pressing it, which means that it does not autofocus, but start a recording, which is pretty neat. And with the button number 4, we can also trigger the recording. So basically, we can start and stop the recording, at least over the follow focus, which is pretty cool. Maybe if you're like heavy at work on your rig and you focus tight and then you just hit it to record. This is a pretty neat feature. I mean, it's the problem with the JTZ Link system is that it's not giving you all the possibilities it has to offer for all cameras. And the problem for me now is I cannot show you the good features because I have no compatible camera. So the GH5 is a bit boring with the JTZ Link system, I will admit that. But in other scenarios, this is a really cool feature set that I have not seen anywhere else. And it's also pretty unique, especially if you have an autofocus lens that you can trigger over it. This is really convenient because it's simply a faster time to set up. And then just like press the button, focus, and then press the button and record, and you're good to go. I think that's pretty neat. One thing that we always worry with follow focus is the backlash. So like how much you can move the follow focus without actually moving the wheel. And I think in this price range, in this quality range of products, we don't really think about backlash anymore because there is none. As you can see, every tiny movement I do with my fingers here gets also transmitted to the gearbox, to the wheel. And one thing you might notice actually, and I have to get this a bit out of the way now, this is not about this follow focus. You can see when I focus here that my lens, you can see this, how it twists around. This is not an issue of the follow focus, and this is not an issue of the camera. This is usually an issue of adaptation. So basically I have a lens turbo here and I have this lens attached to it, and usually this is not the best setup, and therefore we usually get this wiggle when we use a follow focus very fast. And then when we do it slow, it's not as bad, but it is there. So this is something that I really have to get out of the way because it's not an issue with the cage or the follow focus. This is just something that is bad in my setup, and I found a solution. So I built this. This is simply a lens holder, a little support, and I just attached a little leather band to it. Actually, it's not real leather, it's fake leather, because yeah, no one likes to harm animals for their lenses. So basically I get it in position and screw it tight to my rig. Then I get the fake leather around it, and now I can focus pretty wildly and the lens won't move. So this is a fix for bad adaptation, because this is the issue of wiggling lenses with follow focus. It's not the follow focus, not the rig, it's bad adaptation, and this is a fix for it. Not the best maybe, but it is a fix and it works. And it's quite cheap. So this is the JTZ DP30 follow focus for the JTZ DP30 Filmmaker System, and it's the best damn follow focus I ever owned. So it's very good fabricated. I did not emphasize this in the beginning, but it's really well manufactured. It's a really nice finish with the matte black aluminum, and has this little rubber wheel around it, accessory port, buttons for starting and stopping recordings, dampening mechanism, quick release, all the accessories. Yeah, what can I tell you? This is a great setup, good to use. Really like this one, works really well, and it's even better than the DP503 follow focus from Fotga, which was already a great follow focus, but this one gets the cake. So yeah, I think there's one video left for the rig, this like the battery plate. We will do this later, and this is one I'm looking forward to actually. And then we will make a video about the JTZ Link, and then we're done with the DP30 Filmmaker System, and then I won't bother you again with it, hopefully. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you next time, and yeah, bye.